Okay, well, so thank you for all the information. Okay, so I'm going to talk about translating Coq. Okay, so first I'm going to give some short introduction about this problem of translating proof from one system to the other. So here is some figures about the size of libraries. So it's very approximative, but it's just to give you, perhaps not up to date, but just to give you an idea of the size of libraries we have to deal with today. So you see it's quite big, you know, thousands of files and millions, almost millions of objects. By objects, I mean type or definition or theorems. And it's still growing, of course. So what we can remark is that in all the different systems we know, every system has a library, you know, with very basic things about integers, lists, and so on. And you have the same thing in all the systems. But also you have some definitions or theorems that are available only in one system, okay, because it took months or even years to formalize. So that's why it's interesting for both cases, you know, it's interesting to be able to translate proofs, you know, because if you want to develop a new proof assistant, developing a standard library is very time consuming. So if you can take some existing standard library and just translate to your new system, it's will be very helpful. But also, because there are some theorems that are available in only one system, it's very important to be able to translate them to some other system, because it's not reasonable to redo a very long formalization again. So there are many reasons for willing to translate, so not only proofs, but also definitions from one system to the other. But what are the difficulties of making such a translation? So the problem is that, as you know, each system is based on different axioms and deduction rules. And even if in theory we say, well, it's higher order logic, or this is this, I don't know, calculus of inductive constructions and so on, but actually in the systems, the way they are implemented, sometimes you have many small differences that are that might be problematic. And so in general, it's not possible to translate, and in some cases it's not even possible if the target system does not have the same features, then some proofs are not translated. But so we cannot expect to translate everything, but the goal is to try to do our best and be pragmatic and try to translate as much as we can. Okay, so here are a number of works that have been done in many years ago about translation from one system to the other directly. Actually, it started in the 90s with some work on translating whole to some other systems like NuPerl or Coq. And then, so there has been this FlySpec project about so the formalization of Hales proof of Kepler conjecture. And at the beginning, it was a project mixing developments in Trolley, Coq, and Isabelle. Okay. And so it has been a great intensive to try to translate between these various systems, because we wanted to make sure in the end that all the pieces fit well together. And so as you can see, there are quite many interest in systems like all light or whole, because they are easier to manage and to translate from. But the problem is that there are many systems, okay? And if we want to be able to translate from every system to every possible system, then you get a quadratic number of tools to develop. Okay? So this is not quite reasonable. So can we try to get like a pivot language, you know, in between all those systems in which we can translate everything and from which we can translate back those systems. And so this is the approach that I try to follow and implement. It's the idea is to use as a pivot language the lambda pi calculus modulo rewriting. I'm going to give you some details about this later. And the idea is to encode in this calculus the features of each system. So there has been a number of works already. I mean, of encoding, so for instance, pure type systems, higher order logic, universes like type universes, predicate subtyping, or universe polymorphism, this kind of things. And so there are a number of tools for this calculus. So Deducti is a language, is an implementation of this calculus. And it has a type checker, and also lambda pi is a proof assistant on top of this language, with some additional features that may be useful to translate systems. So what is the lambda pi calculus modulo rewriting? So it's an extension of LF. So LF is the simplest systems with simple types and dependent types. Okay. And the difference with LF is that you identify terms and propositions modulo some equations, some oriented equations. So in this calculus, what is a theory? A theory is given by a signature, so a set of symbols with their types, okay, and a set of equations, or rewrite rules. And so the typing rules are the same as LF, except that what I said, so we identify types modulo also the rewrite rules. So some example, the concatenation on arrays, okay? So you can take an array A of size 2 and an array B of size 3, then you get an array of size 2 plus 3, and using rewriting, you identify this type with the type of arrays of size 5. Okay, and so what can we do in this logical framework? Okay, so we have defined a theory with some colleagues called U, okay, which consists in a number of symbols and rules, and in which you can encode many different systems, starting from first order logic, intuitionistic or classical, up to higher order logic, or even the calculus of constructions on some extensions of it. Okay. And what is interesting is that, so depending on the number of symbols or rules you allow, you get different systems. Okay. And so, let's say you start from Hall-Light or Elizabeth Hall, which is based in higher order logic, and then if you translate to this theory, you will arrive in some subset here, some color, okay? And then you can then translate your proof to some other system if it's handling the symbols you are using in your proof. Okay, so this is the way we develop a number of tools to translate from various systems to other system using in the middle, so Deducti, or some extension of it, lambda pi. And you see there are many different systems, so the arrows are not in both directions always, and they are not total. Okay? In some cases, we handle only some part of the system. So you can see that we are considering many different systems, so systems based on higher order logic, also systems based on type theories, and also automated theorem provers. Okay. And so what I'm going to talk about here is these two arrows in red. Okay, so the one from Hall-Light to Deducti and lambda pi, and the one from lambda pi to Coq. Okay, so what have been the previous works on the translation from higher order logic to Coq? So more than 20 years ago, there has been the first work, translating proofs to some Coq scripts. It was not very efficient, but the code is not available anymore. And so in 2007, there has been some work by you that describes a manual translation from online to Coq using a shallow embedding. Okay. But there is no implementation. It was like some experiment. And at that time, the conclusion was not very optimistic. It looks like it was getting too big proofs out of Light to be checked by Coq.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I stopped this project. There was no implementation because I cut the project. And it was not so much the size as well. I had some classical axioms that were inconsistent with the impredicativity of Coq at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was so fed up with the whole thing that, okay, I'm stopping this Coq system is no good. So by now the Coq system has changed, but I never went back.
Yeah. Right. And a few years later, there has been another approach by Keller and Werner using a deep embedding. But the code is not maintained and it does not work anymore. And so what I'm going to present now is some implementation of your approach in the new code system. Okay. And reusing, ideas from previous work, so a translation from OpenFury to Deducti, and a translation from All-Light to Isabelle by Lichik and Krauss. Okay, so what is the logic of All-Light? Okay, this is this set of rules. Okay, so it's a very small system actually. So it's based on simply type lambda calculus, actually polymorphic, like in ML systems. Okay, and so what you can remark is that in these rules, the only symbols you have is equality. There is no connectives. Okay, so this is a strange logical system. It is that all connectives can be defined using lambda calculus and equality only. Okay, so this is a first thing that is not so nice when you want to translate to other systems, because even the connectives are defined. Okay, and usually they are primitives. And also, in addition, you can introduce new constants, okay, and new types. Okay, so for new constants, it's easy. I mean, the way it is done. So you have a term t, and you want to give a name to this expression. Okay, so you introduce a new name c and an axiom saying that c is equal to t. And for types, it's about the same thing, but it's a little bit more complicated. So you have a type A, okay, and you would like to speak about the set of elements of A that satisfy some proposition P. Okay, so you cannot use these kind of expressions as types in All-Light. Okay, but instead you can introduce a new name B and say. Provide some axiom saying that the type B is actually isomorphic to this subset of A. Okay, so this is the way types are introduced in All-Light. Or Isabelle, actually, it's the same thing. Okay, and so now we are going to see how to make this translation concrete. So the first step is to extract proofs out of All-Light. Okay. So the first problem is that All-Light actually uses what is called the LCF approach. So it means that it records provability, but not proofs. There is no proof object in All-Light or in Isabelle. Okay. So and how it is done, it's done by defining internally, a type for theorems. It's an abstract data type, and you have a constructor for each basic rule that I've shown before, okay? And everything is built on this, okay? To make sure that you indeed produce only theorems. So the first thing is to patch, okay, whole light in order to not only record probability but also the proofs. Okay. So it has been done many years ago, actually, already by Oblua 2005 and later more recently. And so the idea is just to give some unique identifier to every proof and then to add some data to explain how the proof has been obtained. Okay? And so I just took the work of Paulu and improved it a little bit to make it more efficient. Step 2. So if you do this, then you get very big proofs. Okay? Why? I mean, if I go back to, you can imagine, you know, complex proofs just based on only these proof steps here. You get very, very huge proofs. Because even, for instance, alpha equivalence, okay, is not built in. You have to prove it, you know. Because, for instance, the only rule you have is a restricted form of beta reduction. You don't have congruence, anything. So you imagine when you do a proof, you know, even alpha renaming and congruencies and so on, you have to have steps, okay, to make these proofs. Okay. So you get very huge proofs out of this. You know. So in order for this to be manageable, and in order to translate them, you know, we need to simplify, to reduce the size of these proofs and simplify them. So a first simplification, you know, is to instrument not only the basic rules, but also the introduction and elimination rules for connectives. And also to instrument alpha equivalence. Actually, in whole light, you know, 20% of proof steps are for alpha equivalence. 20%. And then we can also simplify proofs. You know, proofs are generated by using tactics in all light, okay? And tactics may fail, okay? And sometimes they do things, you know, in some way which is not optimal, okay? And so we can apply a number of rewrite rules on the proofs to simplify them, you know? Especially, you know, things related to equality or some cut elimination for conjunction. Okay. If you do this, again, you can reduce the size of proofs in quite some important way. And finally, when you get a proof, you know, because it's using tactics that may fail, a number of proof steps are useless. Okay, so you can discard these proof steps and just keep those that are really useful for the goal. Okay, and like this, you can divide the size of proofs by 4. Okay, so this is important. So, for instance, if you take the base library for whole light, which is called the file whole.ml, this is the first file you use, and where you have a number of things about natural numbers, real numbers, and all these things. And you have initially like 14 million of proof steps. Okay, after simplification, you get like 3.5 million proof steps only. Okay, and then the next step is once you get these proofs out of all light, you simplify them, then we are going to translate them to lambda pi. Okay, and for this we reuse the encoding of higher order logic in lambda pi that has been defined by Assaf and Burrell. And so I'm going to give you the code of in lambda pi. It's only 2 pages, and it's easy. So first you define a type set for the all types. Okay. So the type bool and the type fun for rows. Okay, so this is a deep embedding of types, and then you interpret all light types into lambda pi types. Okay. So you introduce a function element, okay? And here, for instance, you interpret the fun constructor as the row in lambda pi. Okay? So you turn your deep embedding into a shallow embedding. And then you have primitives like equality. Okay? Everything is defined equality. identity, and you have also the epsilon operator. This is the choice in all light. Okay, so it's just a constant. And then, so the type of bool is the type of propositions. Okay, but propositions are just terms. It's a deep ending. But now you want to do some proof checking, and for this we reduce proof checking into type checking. Okay, by using the Curie-Howard correspondence. Okay, and for this, so we interpret propositions into types. Okay, by some explicit function proof that we are going to define for each connective. And then you have so axioms that correspond to the deduction rules of whole life, the basic deduction rules. So like reflexivity, and some axioms like functional extensionality or propositional extensionality. Okay. So these are just symbol declarations for axioms. And then for you have the connectives. So for instance, the implication, and you interpret the implication by the eurotype in lambda pi. So this is the Curie-Howard isomorphism. Okay. So a proof of P implies Q is a function from the proof of P to the proof of Q, and so on. Okay, you can do this for all connectives. And so here you have the introduction and elimination rules of connectives that you can actually prove. Okay, so then you get files in DLT or in lambda pi using this encoding. Okay, and the last step is to translate this to Coq. And the translation, once you get the things in DLT, the translation to Coq is very easy. Essentially, it's about eliminating the element and proof symbols and do some renamings. Okay, so it's purely syntactic and very fast. And at the end, you get things like this. Okay, so this is an example of theorem. So you get something that is very readable, and the statements, okay, are quite readable and usable. You know. Of course, the proofs, you know, it's another story. Okay, but if you don't care about the proof and just want to reuse the lemma, then it's possible. And so, to do this translation, we also map some all light or lambda pi symbols into Coq expressions. Okay, and so this is very important to get something usable, readily usable in the end, because you start from all light. If you do the translation, for instance, you will get another definition of natural numbers and real numbers and so on. But what you want to really use this in Coq is that the theorems that are coming from all light are not on the all light natural numbers, but on the Coq natural numbers, on the Coq real numbers, and so on. So you need to align the definitions of symbols and types, you know, between all light and Coq. Okay. So this is the last step. How to do this, you know? So we have seen that in all light you can introduce a new constant by using some axiom like this. So if we want to replace C, the constant C from all light by some new expression in Coq, okay, because many proofs rely on this axiom, okay, we need to prove this axiom in Coq. Okay. So if we replace C by C prime, then we need to prove that C prime is indeed equal to T. Okay. And same thing for types. Okay. We have seen that for types we need to it's axiomatized in all light by using axioms for declaring some isomorphism. Okay. And it means that in Coq we need to explicit this isomorphism. Okay. So to define the functions from A to P prime and prove that they are in negation. Okay. And so we did this for a number of things. Okay, so for instance, connectives and basic types like product types, natural numbers, option type, lists, and also functions on natural numbers like addition, multiplication, and on lists. And currently we are working on real numbers. Okay. It's more complicated for real numbers, but we made very important progresses. I think perhaps in a few weeks it will be finished. I hope. Okay, and so what you get out of this? You can directly generate a Coq library that you can directly use that are based on the Coq standard library. Okay. So currently it's only about 600 lemmas on arithmetic and list, so it's quite small. But as soon as we get real numbers, we will get much more things. Okay. And it's available on OPAM. Okay. So one thing mentioned, so what are the axioms that we use in Coq to represent all-like proofs? Okay. So these are not very surprising. So first, it's using classical logic, the epsilon operator. Okay, so this is this axiom here in Coq. Functional externality, propositional externality, and also proof irrelevance. Okay, all these axioms that are satisfied, for instance, in the lean system. Okay, so these are very common axioms. Okay, so what about performances, which was one of the problems in earlier work? So I take two examples. I mentioned the basic standard library of all light. Okay. So it is checked. You can extract the proofs in about 4 minutes. You get this like 3 giga proofs. Okay. With about 5 million proof tests, and the number of theorems, like 5,000. And so you can see that the translation to lambda pi or to Coq are very fast, less than 1 minute. Okay. And it takes about 18 minutes to check in Coq. Okay. But now if you take a bigger library in whole light, so topology. So topology is about half of the whole light library on analysis. Okay, so you have many theorems, about almost 20,000 theorems, okay, in this library. So you can see that again the translation to lambda pi or Coq is quite fast, about 20 minutes for each. But now of course you get like 68 gigabytes of Coq files. This is huge, okay? But still it's possible to check in 8 hours. If you have a good computer, okay, with many processors. So what is important is the number of processors, maybe. So it's quite possible to do this, and I hope to translate all files of all light. It's just a matter of time, I guess. You can find all this in this oil-to-decay software on GitHub. It provides the patch for all light, and then how to translate things to the lambda pi. And in lambda pi, there is some export to Coq already that we use. And that's it.